Hello again, everyone. I am Gary Godsoe, and welcome to Velocity Online Racing's coverage of Round 5 of Season 13 of the VOR Signature Series, the IndyCar Championship. Today, we come to you from our second road course of the season, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal for the VOR second Grand Prix of Montreal. Joining me in the booth today, not necessarily your ace on the road courses, but he's getting better, and he also spots trends way before I do, so that makes him smarter than me, and thus your driver expert. It is Klendy. Klendy, welcome to Montreal, where I believe you do speak a fair bit of good French, which is the native language here, so to speak, in Quebec. But we are at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, on the Ile de Notre Dame, right next to the rowing basin that they had the rowing competition for the Summer Olympics when the Summer Olympics were here in Montreal back in the 70s. And we have quite a race course here that a lot of people really do enjoy.
Yeah, including myself and many, many fans of Formula One. This has been a staple of the F1 circuit for a very long time, named after a Formula One champion and IndyCar dabbler, the Villeneuve family. Gilles was a champion of the sport, and here we have 13 corners, including the Wall of Champions, the final chicane, right on the main straight, which is sure to see plenty of trauma for these drivers this afternoon. I didn't want to, it may not come to tear anyone's car apart, but it may come to tears in the cockpit, that's for sure.
They call it the Wall of Champions, but I don't think very many champions feel like champions after they smack that wall. We are in group qualifying right now. First group is Group 1 that is currently on the racetrack. Those names are being cycled through on your screen at the moment. And currently no time has been clocked by anybody for an official time. It's going to take a while. This is a pretty big course. It takes them a little bit to get around. It's 2.71 miles, 14 turns. Today for the race, we're doing 52 laps or 140.92 race miles. Pit road speed limit is actually a pretty beefy here for a road course. 50 miles an hour here on the Ile de Notre Dame. So they will be moving up and down the pit road speed limit at a pace roughly that they get on ovals at some times. And 4 sets of tires, 1 in the car, 3 in the pits, and they must switch their tire compounds at some point during the race.
Many drivers complaining in the practice session that the primary black-walled compound was much, much slower than the red alternate compound. So we will see if most drivers want to start on that red alternate compound just to get that extra pace at the beginning of the race. Silvazzi goes top of the board with a 124.24, beating out probably pole favorite Luis Nunez.
Stout was at the top of practice for much of it, so we'll be watching him. He's going to be in Group 2.
Silvazzi's not satisfied. He's going back out to see if he can better his time.
Might as well. The tire limits don't impact qualifying, so smoke them if you got them.
Yeah, 3 minutes left here. It takes about a minute and a half to do a whole lap. You've got to do a lap to get up to speed, so it takes 3 whole minutes, effectively, to do one run.
And while we're watching the times there, we'll go ahead and hide the tree and bring up the driver points coming into today's round at Montreal. Luis Nunez, your leader by a slim margin. Both the leads in the Iconic Series here in Velocity Online Racing and the IndyCar Championship are about as razor thin as you can get. Over on the Iconic Series, there is a tie for the top spot right now after their race yesterday. And after our race a few weeks ago, or actually, was it last week at Iowa that the IndyCars ran at? Yes. We are now 1 point separating first and second. Nunez and Altena. Liam O'Sullivan is in third. Patrick Silvazzi also tied for third at the moment. They're only 13 points back from the leader.
Well, to reiterate my bold prediction from last week, I said that Luis Nunez was going to run away with this championship, cementing himself in the championship lead from Iowa. I would assume that he is looking to get the pole, and, well, right now he's not on the pole. He's going to be starting maybe second, maybe worse, depending on if anybody can better his time in the second group here, but I think Salvazzi will not be able to post a better time than what he's put up. O'Sullivan is on a flying lap right now.
And I'm just verifying the points real quick. I know they're still on the screen here. Yeah, there is not a tie for third, so it's first, second, and third. Salvazzi is actually fourth, Christensen fifth, Orman sixth, seventh is Forsyth, Bree eighth, Millward ninth, Gallas in 10th. Then you see Tessera, Murphy, and Stout, Bennyworth, Lovern, Whitaker, Coker, Strauss, and Molina, your remainder of your top 20. And Nunez to the top.
Yeah, that 120.165, that's the fastest lap I've seen all afternoon.
IndyCar proper did not visit here at all and still has not visited Montreal. But in IndyCar history, we are crediting the Kart and Champ Car World Series races as being official races here to IndyCar canon. The track record is held by Cristiano D'Amata. It's a name we don't talk about very often, with the time of 1:19.9. When the course was measured at 2.709 miles. I believe measurements now are 2.71. So times are going to be a little bit different just based upon that small difference. But that's how Kart and Champ Car World Series decided to measure the track. They measured at 2.709 versus the 2.71 that iRacing measures the track at. The career wins leaders here are Dario Franchitti, Michel Jourdain Jr., there's a name we don't talk about very often. Bruno Junqueira, there's a name we don't talk about very often. Oriol Servia, there's a name we don't talk about very often. And Sebastian Bourdais, the four-time IndyCar champion. Each have one win. They are all tied as the career wins leaders here for all the races that were held from 02 to 06. And interesting enough, each one of the winners started in the top five. So I would suspect much the same way. A good starting spot today by one of these drivers could translate into a good finish.
I'm interested to see these Group 2 drivers because most of them were sitting on pit road. It's entirely possible they were able to burn fuel the entire time they were waiting for Group 1 to go and increase their engine temperature to peak. So if Carroll Stout here is not impeded by the three cars in front of him in qualifying, it's entirely possible he could put down a time much better than Luis Nunez.
We're just letting the camera auto change. And we will bring up the tree once again here. Currently provisionally on the pole, it is Nunez, Salvazzi, O'Sullivan, Altena, and Millward, your top five. And I suspect that this might be a good race and a good opportunity for Millward. Being that he is a big Formula One guy, this is a big Formula One track. I suspect that he will probably do pretty well today. And with a fifth,
one of the fastest cars in practice. So
at a fifth starting spot on the starting grid right now, provisionally looking pretty good. Just about everybody on qualifying on the alternate tires, the red sidewall tires. If you enjoy Velocity Online Racing's coverage of the VOR IndyCar Series and you respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so don't miss out on future VOR iRacing broadcasts, which will be the VOR Iconic Series at Indianapolis on Friday, March 7th at 4 p.m. for their biggest race of the season, a 250-mile event. Make sure to ring that bell, and you won't miss it when we call the action from Indianapolis.
Gary's hometown.
My hometown.
Fastest rectangle on the planet.
Born and bred. Although, you know, I'm going to hypothesize here, and if Ontario was still built, Ontario was actually a little bit faster than Indianapolis back in the day. In fact, the first 200-mile-per-hour IndyCar lap ever was turned at Ontario, even before it was turned at Indianapolis. I'm going to say if Ontario was still around and it was still maintained, because it has a little bit wider racing surface. It's also kind of banked a little bit in the short chutes. I think that the fastest rectangle on Earth might be Ontario if that was still an active racetrack, and it wasn't currently a mall right now in Southern California.
Time machines. Someday we'll have time machines, but right now all we have is iRacing scans. So thank you for scanning Auto Club, Fontana, California, whatever you want to call it. We'll have it for generations to come.
And there's no guarantee they're even going to turn that into a short track, which is, I guess, fine with me.
It's expensive right now.
Yeah.
If they weren't going to, they would have sold what they have already.
We'll see.
I know that it looks. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, we'll see what they decide to do there. It seems like a waste. If you build a racetrack in Southern California, it's not going to be built to last. It's every single racetrack built there, with the exception of Long Beach, and that's because it's a temporary street course. Has been torn down. Riverside, Fontana, Ontario. Just a shame. Just a shame. But there's hope that iRacing maybe someday can, they're big in the scanning and making the realistic scans and everything. I'm okay with sacrificing realistic scans and everything, provided you can get me the track. And I will pay for the track. And there's no doubt about that. I would love to see Ontario, Texas World Speedway, Trenton, just to name a few tracks.
Chicago track that was in Cicero.
Ah, yes, the old the converted horse racing track that Chip Ganassi had. Yeah, the Chicago Motor Speedway. Would love to see that. Nazareth. There's a whole bunch of people who love to see Nazareth. Would like to see Pikes Peak. That hasn't even been destroyed yet. They could still go do that if they want to. I think it's going to be a while before we see another oval added to the service that the IndyCars have been at previously. But we're going to see Portland. That's good news.
Another box checked off of the schedule checklist.
Yes. That will be, actually, it's been confirmed on the IIS schedule, so that's probably another way of saying, yes, we're going to have this track for sure.
You think we'll ever get St. Pete?
Yeah, I do think. I believe that they might even scan it this visit. I don't know that for a fact. But yeah, absolutely St. Pete. My understanding that they did scan Toronto, but they did it before the pandemic, and then I think maybe it just kind of stalled after that point.
All right, Gary, I think our starting lineup is mostly set. There's not enough time for anyone to make another lap, and I don't think anyone's on pace to upset the time they have already.
Oof. Ooh, big wreck. Coming in out of about turn 3 area.
Yeah, Matt Wagner went for a ride.
And look at that, the difference between Nunez and Stout, 0.065.
I think we're going to see a very competitive race between those two.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they mind their P's and mind their Q's. Etiquette is a French word, after all.
Debris is also a French word.
Apparently, let's check the weather real quick, Gary. Some drivers are complaining about the wind, including Julian in the chat. Looks like we've got 16-mile-an-hour winds.
Wow, a 17 mile per hour. I can't even say it because I'm shocked. 17 mile per hour wind out of the southeast. Wow, 86 degrees or 86% humidity, 89 degrees track temperature, 68 degrees ambient. Just a weird combination of numbers on weather-wise.
This is a typical day in early May. That's all I can say. Sim date is May 18th. Checks right out.
All right, we're going to get the starting lineups in here momentarily.
Another thing to note for your viewers at home, we will be starting single file as the cars will filter through the Wall of Champions, the chicane on the front stretch, doing so single file, and then take the green shortly thereafter. So they are entitled to return to 2-wide positions, but they are not required to.
Yeah, that's going to make for a big advantage, really, for our pole sitter. Checking chat, Aiden not very happy out there. Track is so slippery, it's a joke. Julian's already nervous for turn 1, and he has renamed the event Montreal. And we will get today's starting lineup here momentarily. And on the pole, looking for a second straight win on a road course and second straight win in a row in the series is Luis Nunez with a 120.1. Right next to him, Carl Stout, looking at one of his best starts of his early career here in the VOR IndyCar Championship. He's on the outside of the front row with a 120.2. Silvazzi and O'Sullivan in row 2. Two guys that can both win on road courses. Row 3, Altina and Soul Wedge. Been a while since Julian has run on a road course. Last time was at Road America. Row 4, Bittyworth and Millward. And row 5, Orman and Forsyth. Row 6, I got Whitaker and Lover. Row 7, Bree and Christensen. Row 8, Tessera and Olden Slow Murph. Row 9, we got Brewer and Pim Van Gastel. Row 10, Pollard and Inch. And back in row 11, we got Wagner in the Walker Racing throwback. Santos on the outside, and Bonnie back in row 12 all by himself. That is your 23 car field. And the weather conditions aren't getting any better.
You can see the trees shaking from that wind.
17 miles per hour was 18. Humidity's gone up just a little bit. Track temperature down. Ambient about the same.
Let's take a quick stock of everybody's tire choice here. To me, quickly panning through the field, I don't see... Oh, Altena is on the primaries. That may bode unwell for him. I think literally nope, Timothy Bree is also on the primary.
Through the pin as they now come down the Casino Straight. And in preparation for the start of this race, track map here provided for you. So in case you don't know about the circuit, it's not a very technical circuit, very fast circuit, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's flat, it's fun. lot of flat-out racing here in these long straightaways, both before and after the Wall of Champions. Can set up some really exciting passing opportunities into the last 2 corners of the circuit and the first 2 corners. 12 and 13 and 1 and 2 both have kind of a cool over-under aspect to them. And then you also have the hairpin right before that. So I think that the majority of the opposite side of the track without the straightaway is mostly single file, but the straightaway side from the hairpin on is all very
and there was no form up whatsoever. Teammates now side by side coming out of Senna.
Here comes Carl Stout. He is dogging Luis Nunez.
Oh, he got into the back of it and loses his wing.
Oh, he was forgiven immediately.
Wow.
All right, take stock of where you are. Carl's still very young, coming into his own.
The 4 horsemen of Notre Dame forgives to the inside in the pin. He goes to the inside and around. Now down the casino straight side by side for the lead. Julian around in the pin. But we got a battle for the lead here.
Oh, Julian got his nose taken off.
And Stout is going to come out as the leader of this first lap. And Julian, no front nose. Bonnie, no front, at least a left front wing plane. Julian coming to pit road right now.
And it has to. You get about 14 full laps on fuel. If you save a little, you can go 15.
And there you see on the tree, everybody all the way down to Whitaker on the alternate tires. Bree at 11th has opted to go with the prime tire. And you see drivers already hitting the push to pass button. 200 seconds you're given to use push to pass. Use a push to pass, push to defend. It gives you a momentary horsepower boost. Keep in mind
up 3 spots already.
And every time you do use that button, remember it does impact fuel mileage.
Big time. You put more fuel in the engine, you burn more fuel. It's how you make more horsepower. You can't just get more power out of nowhere. It's got to come from somewhere.
Yes, it does. The power deficit. Back up front, it is Stout, Nunez. Stout, purple lap that time by, putting a little bit of space between himself and Nunez now. 0.6 for our leader. So Vazzi, 3rd. O'Sullivan, 4th. Caustic Solwedge, here he's back there in 5th. Bennyworth in 6th. Forsyth, 7th. Millward, 8th. Jesper Orman, 9th. Braden Whitaker in 10th. Biggest movers, let's go back to Lucas Santos. And he is up 6 spots to 16th. Veteran here in the VOR IndyCar Championship and the PRL IndyCar Series. Battle between Christensen and Bree into the pin. Christensen was taking a look to the inside, wasn't close enough, letting Bree know he's there.
Forsyth's taking a look here on Bennyworth.
Side by side down the casino straight, and a position for Craig. Move him up to 6th.
Hometown kids moving up through the field. I know he's from Western Canada, but you know, anytime you're on home soil.
This is a home game for him, yes.
Sullivan, I think just got by Silvazzi.
did. He did indeed, and he is now third.
Correction, he got by in the chicane. Just like Forsythe. Millward now sets his sights on Bennyworth, trying to repeat what Forsythe did last lap. He can get through the hairpin here. Be able to run down the casino straight.
Now, Liam is also looking for that first road course breakthrough win. He is very talented on the road courses, but his 2 career wins here in the IndyCar Championship are on ovals. Last season at Indianapolis, he's the defending champion of our next race, which will be the 13th running of the Velocity Online Racing's Indy 500. He's a defending champion there, and also he won last season at Pocono. So if you're into a flat 2.5-mile ovals, he is your guy.
Brewer and Christensen and Santos have been absolutely throwing haymakers at each other the last lap and a half. And Tessera is just like, yes, please, all of you crash. I'd like to pass 3 cars right now.
That's allowing Whitaker with those red tires that are ahead of Bree. Bree getting past now to the outside. Oh, and I think a little brute force there. Bree got forced out of it. That's not going to help him already on those prime tires. Getting shuffled on back. We'll see if he can get some of those positions back when the alternates go off. Meanwhile, back up front, it is still Stout and Nunez. Nunez 7/10 behind our leader, Carl Stout. They have pulled away by 6 seconds. About 6 seconds. Let's get gaps up here real quick. About 5.5 seconds over O'Sullivan. And Solwedge passing Salvazzi on the main straight going into 1. So moves Solwedge now up to 4th. Salvazzi in 5th. Salvazzi winner at Watkins Glen earlier this season on the road course. And got his first career win in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship at the Indy GP last season, or in season 12. Would be last season.
I'm going to keep a close eye on when this crossover point might be happening. It's kind of unfair to compare the rest of the field to the leaders because they're just so fast, but I'm really going to use Timothy Bree as my benchmark, right? He hasn't run much better than a 124.3, and most everyone on the red alternates is still in the 123 bracket, almost, half a second or more faster at a minimum.
Here's a 4-way battle for 6. Bennyworth, Forsythe, Millward, and Orman. Stout.
Orman really eating them up on corner entry. Really aggressive there on the braking.
And his racecraft on road courses has gotten a lot better. Continues to improve. Stout still the leader by about a half second over Nunez. Nunez right there, not letting him get away.
It's impossible. It is possible Nunez is just drafting off of Stout. If Nunez wants to overcut and make that 15-lap run rather than a 14-lap run, drafting is the best way to save the fuel because you still put up great times and you put up good fuel numbers as well.
Forsyth on the button, so is Bennyworth. He senses it. Here they come down the casino straight and a bit of a drag race. Craig's there in the draft. He's going to get to the inside before we get to turns 13 and 14 and move Forsyth up one more spot, the 6th.
Bennyworth's not done yet. Oh, he concedes into turn 1, but it looked like he was looking to the inside.
Showing Gary Lovern currently in pit road with an extended stop. Alexander Bonney on pit road with an extended stop. Julian made his pit stop to get a new wing. He went ahead and topped off the tank and got a new set of tires on pit road for 13.4 seconds. Currently, Dan Inch also on pit road for looks like a damage to his left front wing, possibly.
Yeah, it looked a little crooked there. Yeah, Forsyth is really checked away from Bennyworth. I think Craig's probably got the pace to hunt down Silvazzi here. This will be his first lap in clean air. I'll be interested to see if it's as good as Patrick has been.
I don't know if you saw the development blog this week from iRacing, but another historic IndyCar track will also be making an appearance on iRacing here soon. The road course of Mexico City supposedly will be in the future for the service. That is good news.
Hernandez, right?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes. Or part of the course runs through the middle of an old baseball stadium. As I said, that's where my two sports kind of meet right there in Mexico City. But the Champ Car World Series kart went there. And there's talk about possibly going back, especially with Pato O'Ward, the popularity of him in Mexico. Favorite son. And looks like Forsyth coming back to that group of Bennyworth, Millward, and Orman.
This thing about clean air is that you don't know what your car is going to do with it when you have it because you haven't had it all race, right?
Santos in the pin on the outside of Christensen. They're going to drag race out of it. Give the position to Santos, now up 10 spots to 12th.
Nunez is getting closer and closer to Stout through each corner. Well, he just lost some ground there, but ever since the last hairpin, he had been pressuring Stout, and it looks like he's really attacking on entry now. I think if Nunez was saving, he's stopped doing that.
And we will ride with Nunez just over his cockpit there, going into the pin.
I'm talking about he's just so confident on those brakes going into the zones every time, like 10 to 15 feet deeper than Stout. But you'll see Stout will have a better exit because his car is able to rotate and get pointed quicker because he's off the brakes sooner.
Down the casino straight. Coming to the wall of champions right there. Now on the main straight. At the start-finish line. Now turn 1. And turn 2, also known as Senna. Right here. Coming to turn 3 and then 4 and 5 right here. Fast little chicane. Come out to the wall, clip the curb. And another chicane right here.
You've got to be careful not to get too much of the curbs to your inside so they don't push you wide in any of these corners. You can use them a little, but you can't rely on them bottoming you out because then you'll shoot out into the wall.
Here is the next to last chicane before getting into the pin. Or this is the last one before getting into the pin. That's always one of the more difficult ones. And now the hairpin.
We are spoiled for action. Not only do we have first and second within half a second, but third and fourth are now getting into negotiations over who will have the position, as Solowich has reeled back in O'Sullivan.
And very close there between Solowich and O'Sullivan. Get a driver inputs there.
Carroll Stout just disappeared for half a lap.
Oh no, and he's gone. Oh, there he's back. He's back.
I don't know where he's going to come back if he comes back again, but he was ahead of and then behind and then ahead of Luis Nunez over and over again.
And now he's back. And what happened? Now he's back. And what happened to Nunez at Watkins Glen is happening to Stout right now. He's back now formed. But he is now 2 seconds behind Nunez.
Yeah, nearly 3 seconds back. It's going to be a big hill to climb for Stout, who had led every lap up to this point. Checking in on those primary tires, Gary, they're still slower than the alternates, even 12 laps in to this stint. I think Timothy Bree is going to probably run the red the rest of the day. Same with Julian Altena. So the question becomes, when will the rest of the leaders choose to run the primary tire, which seems to be much, much slower than these alternates.
We now move away from the battle for the lead, which unfortunately has drastically changed now with Stout lagging out. But we're back watching O'Sullivan and Solowich. This is a battle for third. Closest battle on the racetrack.
And we still have that four-car tandem behind them. So after Solowich, we have, or after Solvazzi, excuse me, Forsyth, Millward, Bennyworth, and Orman.
And Millward got around Bennyworth.
Striking distance of one another.
Through the pin.
And then Whitaker, Santos, and Bree are all.
Oh, here's Christensen to the inside of Whitaker, and Christensen gets the pass. And so does Bree. Well, not quite yet. Bree's going to run a drag race. Whitaker off the corner, and he will complete the pass as Whitaker tucks back in behind Bree. To move each one of those guys up one more spot to 12th and 13th, respectively. Whitaker back to 14th.
Ahead of all these guys is Lucas Santos, who's up 10 spots on the day so far.
Could be coming to first pit stops here soon. As we're watching Nunez now, your leader, coming to the scene of where Robert Kubica had that huge crash back in the Formula One race here. I think that was 2006-ish. My Formula One history is not as sharp as my IndyCar history, but I do remember watching that race, and it was a hell of a hit. And just watching him go limp in the cockpit as the car was on its side was truly frightening.
So Nunez and Stout are both going to attempt lap 15. So does Sullivan, so does Solowich. So does Silvazzi.
Craig, nope, he's going to go one more. Millward one more. Bennyworth one more. Orman's going to follow him on through. So the entire top 9 is going to stay out. Here comes Brewer. Brewer is also staying out. So the entire top 10 staying out. Out on push to pass again, trying to reel in Nunez.
Whole field taking this 15th lap.
And it's really interesting how the racing gods took us away from Nunez at Watkins Glen and is giving him one back, essentially, here at Montreal. Now, it's not, he doesn't have the win. We still have a long ways to go, but it's giving him back the lead. And we've seen what happens when Nunez typically holds the lead on road courses here in this league. Okay, pit road, Liam O'Sullivan.
Everybody, the front 3 are all in. Solowich stays out. Silvazzi stays out. Forsyth stays out. Orman stays out, but Bennyworth and Millward are in.
So Solwich inherits the lead.
These little micro undercuts and overcuts are going to decide the race. Nunez is coming out right in front of Forsyth. Basically a free stop for Lewis. But Craig will get to watch his line, see what he's doing differently, maybe pick something up that he can use the rest of the day.
First stops occurring right around lap 15 for everybody. Solwedge now into the pin. We'll see if he makes the... Actually, you don't make the turn down pit road. You just hold the wheel straight.
That's one of my favorite pit entries on the service. This is so easy to do. You just have to be very mindful of cars in front of you who are not pitting because they'll be braking before you to stay on the racing line.
And he's coming in. So Vazzi going to stay out for another lap.
Now this is interesting. If Silvazzi could go and complete lap 18, which is one more than he's doing, he could cut a stop. I don't think... Yeah, if you can run one 18-lap stint, you can do 18, 17, 17, which cuts a stop out.
So after the stop, so we're still waiting for drivers to make their first stops. So Vazzi, Forsyth, and Orman still have to make their first stops. We will reset the field for you for the second Grand Prix of Montreal here at the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship.
Barrel Stout right all over Jesper Orman here. No fight from Jesper, I don't think. I think he's just going to let him by on the inside.
Yeah, I think Jesper's on his own schedule at the moment.
Forsyth will be in. Jesper will be in.
Patrick staying out again.
He's going to cut a stop. What a monster. Come on, Patrick. Give us a little bit of pit strategy to talk about.
Forsyth on pit road. Orman on pit road. For their first stop. Nunez, purple lap. 120.8.
Can you do a rear chase cam from Silvazzi so you can see how close Nunez is getting?
Yep.
This is the difference. That stop that Nunez has, that Silvazzi is not going to make, this will be the difference that Nunez has to make up on Silvazzi for the rest of the race. This 1.5 second gap between them.
through 8 and 9. Now coming down to the pin and 10. Nunez cutting it down by a couple tenths already. Heavy on the acceleration out of the pin, down the casino straight. Does Silvazzi this time stay out? He's the only car yet to pit. And he's going to stay out again.
Wow. Fuel economy master, Patrick Silvazzi.
I mean, I want to check and see if he has a hollow leg or something that's full of fuel.
Maybe he just had a very hearty lunch of spirits and he's just breathing into the headers, getting that to explode.
And Nunez is there, and Nunez will want to get around him. But I think maybe if Nunez could just get close enough and then pass him when he ducks to pit road. Nunez to the inside. Silvazzi's giving him a little bit of space. Now they drag race off the corner. Silvazzi stays wide. Here comes Nunez to the inside. This is for the lead. And Silvazzi comes to pit road. Lead now is turned back over to Nunez.
Other drivers questioning how Patrick was able to go that far on fuel. Not just us in the booth who are bamboozled. The other competitors have no idea how he did it either. So hopefully he podiums and we can ask.
Tim Brewer on pit road with some damage. Looks like his day is done.
And Millward has found himself past Forsyth through this exchange of pit stops. And they've really opened it up on Bennyworth and Orman. They're not even in the picture anymore.
I'm probably going to hear about it from Aiden by not showing him making that pass. But, you know, the big news at the time was how many laps Patrick Silvazzi was able to pull off. And that was pretty incredible. He went 18, actually came to 19. Everyone else did 15 or 16. Julian, little red mist lap there for him, a 120.7 at the purple. Move him to the top of the list of the fastest laps.
That's faster than he qualified by 0.2 of a second. Despite the disastrous start, Julian's making up good time on the rest of the field. He could salvage a top 10 before the day is done.
And he did make his second stop, technically. He went 16 laps. So he is now 13th. Everybody in the top 4 on the alternate tire except for Silvazzi. He is on the prime tire. Bennyworth in 8th on the prime tire. Teixeira in 14th on the prime tire.
Matt Brewer has punched out.
He is punched out.
3 and 4.
Showing 19 cars still running. 18 of them on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap is Matty Wags, who's currently running down old and slow Mark Murphy.
Battle of colossally slow titans here at the end of the field. Both in red, white, and blue cars. Murph on the slow primary tire. So Wagner should be able to do whatever he wants here.
And Murph's going to stay wide, and I think he just allows Wags on through. The move Wags up to 17th. Murph back to 18th. Both these drivers just on their own schedule at the moment. A little bit further up, Braden Whitaker. There he is. He's chasing down John Christensen for 14th. He might have a whiff to the draft and try to pull out and make a pass of it going into the final turn, and he doesn't, but Christensen coming to pit road.
Yeah, bit of a oddball strategy here. I think he's just trying to make the fuel number, I guess. So maybe he felt like he wanted clean air instead of racing with other cars and figured to take a stop now rather than wait.
Getting off those red tires really quick.
And a fresh set of reds get bolted right back on. Long stop. Maybe Christensen had a little bit of damage on the wing there. I think that got replaced as well.
On pit road for 13.8 seconds. That would make about sense. That'd be about 8-second stop plus 5 seconds for the replacement wing penalty. And in reality, that's really how long it does take to replace the front wing on these cars. It's just a couple of fast release bolts. Snap on, snap off.
No different than changing a tire.
Back to the battle between Millward and Forsyth, 6th and 7th. Orman and Bennyworth, even closer, 8th and 9th.
Solowich and Silvazzi also close. So again, spoiled for choice when it comes to battles.
Now, Solwedge has been on those tires for 6 laps. Silvazzi only 3.
Orman got by Bennyworth there, coming just before the hairpin through that second to last chicane.
We'll reset the field for you here in just a second. If you're just joining us, this is Velocity Online Racing's coverage of the VOR IndyCar Championship, coming to you from Montreal for the second Grand Prix of Montreal. We've completed now 24 of 52 laps. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race, which will be the VOR Iconic Series at Indianapolis on Friday, March 7th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time for their 250-mile event. Biggest race on the schedule for the Iconic Series. You won't want to miss it. That is up next. A little bit of a break here the next couple weeks.
Get your spring cleaning done while we take a little bit of a mid-season siesta. At least for all of our followers in North American or Northern Hemisphere. Excuse me.
The Sarah on pit road for a scheduled stop.
Nunez lapping Murphy here.
Murphy gets out of the way.
Over. Ever the gentleman.
And that is Gary Lovern just ahead of him in 20th. Gary had an incident earlier in the race, and he is now just trying to drive to survive at the moment. Stout has not recovered at all from the lag. He is now 5 seconds behind Nunez. His only hope right now is somehow Nunez gets the lag again.
Well, it's entirely possible that Nunez is worse on the primary tire and Stout is better if they put practice in on that tire at all. But 5.7 seconds is a really big gap to make up. Stout came out about 3 seconds behind after that lag all resolved, so he's lost an additional 2.5 seconds since.
Back to the Forsyth-Millward battle. That is now the closest battle back on the racetrack.
I'm gonna get my stopwatch out. I'm gonna time the next stop for Nunez. See how much time he loses coming down pit road.
Last time he was on pit lane for 31.6, in the box for 8.5.
But you do gain some of that back because you don't have to take the champion chicane. So it's like a half-second gain off of that from a lap, right?
Yep. Here's the remaining schedule for Season 13. As you see, we are at Round 5, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And then we go to Indianapolis, March 8th for qualifying. And then you will probably see the next broadcast of the IndyCar Series and the IndyCar Championship on March 15th for the 500-mile race. Then after that, Nashville, Long Beach for our third and final road course of the season. Homestead, and then we will close out in early May with our second 500-miler of the season at Auto Club. That is your remaining schedule for the IndyCar Championship, Season 13.
Santos is very slowly reeling in Bennyworth here for 9th. Not quite yet within striking distance, but every lap he's about 2.5, 3/10 quicker, not quacker.
Quacker.
Maybe on an island by a river with ducks in it, but he's quicker, not quacker.
Is it Le Duc? Is that what it is? Le Duc?
No.
Le Quack?
I remember it begins with P. Yeah, it's no, it's Ganard. It's Canard, but it sounds like Ganard. Ganard.
Santos a little bit of wear on his right front end plane there on the wing. But he is just about to Bennyworth.
Where the wear will persist there when maybe they didn't earn it, and then your graphics will definitely pop back and put it back how it should be. 2 or 3 laps later. I've been seeing that a lot recently, and it's caused me to call damage when it didn't actually exist. But I'm also seeing it, Gary. So, but Santos is no slower with that little bit of wear there.
It is a little hazy right now on the island. Maybe the fog rolling in. But we just flashed up the weather conditions.
IndyCar rain when? IndyCar rain tire when?
Soon, I hope.
You think they would wait until we have the hybrid system and the whole car revamped to bother coding it?
I don't know. We might see rain when we not until the new car comes out. Who knows? Which is what going to be 2027 now, probably at earliest. In the real world. Keep in mind that this is, even though this is the IR18, it is the DW12 with the IR18 Aero kit on it. So this car is 12 years old, 13 years old. The tubs themselves are originated for the DW12. It's just a different Aero kit snapped on to the outside.
comes Santos.
This is a battle for 9th and 10th. Santos goes to the front, smacks the curb, but keeps it under control and moves up a position, now up 13. Up 13 positions for Santos. I believe he's from Singapore.
Club International, no clues there.
International, I think he's from Singapore. But he loves his, he loves aerospace stuff. As you can see, it's got the U.S. Air Force logo on the side. Meanwhile, up front, Luis Nunez coming around Senna with Julian coming out of the pits. Julian made his scheduled stop. He went 11 laps on that third stint of his.
Forsyth has started to reel back in Millward. I think they're the closest positioned cars on the track right now, both within a second, half second of one another.
Pim and Wagner as well, back for 14th.
Race Labs let me down. It's only showing -1 lap for them both. Doesn't give me the difference.
There, I use Race Labs for my supplemental data, and their standings page, for whatever reason, it lags in and out for me now. And there was an update that they pushed out last night, and I was hoping that would solve that, but it's still doing it for me. I'm not sure why. But
Nunez on pit road. Stopwatch.
Yes, here we go. Scheduled stop. And there goes Wagner pulling out for a peek on the outside of Pim, and he doesn't pull it off. Let's get back to the camera on Nunez. Up on the jacks. And going to stick with the alternate tire. Oh, and he goes wide through the pit, and he actually smacks the wall a little bit, going through Senna. As the haze continues to pick up on the racetrack. So this outlap is going to really hurt him. That's going to allow Stout to possibly reel him in. Somebody's on pit road. Who's on pit road? Millward and Santos. Millward down and away. Santos down and away. So Stout picks up the lead. As he comes to pit road now. Oh, did he speed or not?
He's clean.
All right. They're going to have to get the foghorn out here soon. Wah, wah.
I was going to say maybe Canada scored another goal. Now, the magic number is going to be about 38 seconds. So if Patrick Silvazzi can stay within 38 seconds, and he's 31 seconds behind the leaders right now, so the leaders have to pull out 7 more seconds on him to make up the difference that he'll make from missing a stop. Stout came out right behind Solo Edge, which is not what he wanted to see.
There we go. There's the Canada goal horn. You can't hear it, but everyone else at home can hear it. Just sounds like a train horn. All right, we don't want the music. We don't want to get the copyright strike. But as long as I keep talking over it, it's okay. There we go. Anyways, yeah, They're going to need that. It is awfully foggy right now here on the island. Nunez, Stout, Solwedge. We're watching Stout and Solwedge right now on the racetrack. Nunez getting back the lead. So Nunez actually stretched it to 12 seconds, even with the bad out lap.
It's incredible.
And a purple lap that time he set. 120 flat. Yes.
Boom.
There is Stout in second. He is secure by himself at the moment. 13 behind the leader, 5 ahead of Salvazzi. Salvazzi in third. In a battle with O'Sullivan. Those two have not really gotten away from each other at all this race. Then Craig Forsyth back in fifth.
Yeah.
Jesper Orman very quietly up to sixth now, and he's not too far behind Forsyth.
Well, they're a little bit behind on their pit strategy.
Oh, O'Sullivan getting around Salvazzi. Move O'Sullivan to third.
I don't think Patrick's too concerned. He's cutting a stop, right? So he doesn't mind if he loses a little bit of time each lap, because he's going to be gaining 15 to 30 seconds by not stopping an extra time.
Tim Bree is somehow the leader. I'm not sure how that happened. At least that's how the timing is scored. I think he towed and went to the top, and now Nunez takes back over the lead. Some weird stuff going on. Nunez in heavy traffic. Teixeira goes wide into the grass and into the wall. Tire barrier. That gives up the position to Wagner. Wagner holds on to 12th, but he has the leader right behind him. Wagner
Visibility maybe a little bit. The excitement is not. Nunez almost pushed wise again by Wagner.
Just no place to run to, nowhere to hide. Just like the song says, and to the outside going into 8 and 9. Nunez pulls it off, getting around the lap traffic, and now Stout's going to have to get through that as well at some point. Millward and Orman, as Orman, I believe, is on pit road. There he is. He's coming off pit road right now, and he's going to come out right with Santos. Nope, that is not Santos. Excuse me. That's Nick Pollard. We have not talked about Nick at all. Nick is 2 laps down in 19th, just driving his own race, keeping it clean and green. He's right where he started, so he hasn't lost any ground, hasn't gained any ground. Sometimes when you're not a good road course driver like myself, the drive to survive really is the key strategy, not really to do anything other than to race the racetrack and hope that others in front of you have lots of misfortune so you can just move past them the easy way while they're stuck on pit road.
Yeah, keep it on the gray stuff. That's my strategy whenever we have to turn right and left.
Wagner on pit road for his next to last stop. Here are the intervals. It is Nunez, your leader. Stout, 11 seconds behind. O'Sullivan, 19 seconds behind. Salvazzi, 21 seconds behind. Forsyth, 28. That's your top 5. And Solwedge, go ahead.
On that Forsyth, if Craig can save a little bit of fuel, I think he's also live to cut a stop, just like Salvazzi. He's 7 seconds behind Salvazzi, but maybe only needs to save a little less fuel, because he did go to 18. Like
yeah, that's right. He went 17, and he's on lap 17 now of his stint, so we're expecting him coming to pit road. Does Forsyth keep the wheel straight, go to pit road, or does he go for another lap? He is going to pit road. Scheduled stop. This is his final stop right here. This should be his final stop.
Yeah, he'll have to save just a little bit. But
So now we expect Silvazzi, who is now in 4th, who is 16 laps into his stint, to make that final stop sometime, anytime in the next, I'm going to guess 3 laps. His first stint, he went 19. He cuts to the inside as Murph goes wide. They're at 8 and 9.
Keep it on the gray stuff, Murph. Come on. Take the Clendy strat.
Silvazzi coming to the pit road entry. He opts for another lap. So we're waiting for him to make his final stop. We see Murphy on pit road. Should be for his final stop. Also on pit road, Gary Lovern. And it's a good opportunity right here to shout out that today's race is brought to you by Lovern's Incorporated. Lovern's provide professional services in renovation, remodeling, painting, and mold removal for government, commercial, and residential projects. For a quote to learn more, like them on Facebook or visit our website at lovernsinc.com today. I believe all the links you need are in the description. Pim Van Gastel on pit road for an extended stop, missing a front nose. So Pollard's going to pass him right now and move up to 18th. I think Pim might be done, unfortunately.
Wonder if Pim and Murphy came to tears. No, Pim just ate the wall of champions, sadly. Hopped the curb and day done.
Easy thing to do over there. That's anyone thinks it's easy to make that last turn next to that wall of champions. You should probably take more laps here. That is not a easy corner at all. And it is very easy to pop that corner, pop that curb, and then basically you're kind of just a ping pong ball getting ready to go bounce off the wall of champions. We have Julian's main cheerleader in chat saying that he's doing amazing. Well, he just moved up, or he's in 9th right now. He's on push to pass as he's trying to run down Forsyth after making his final stop.
Julian may have to stop again, so
I think he will.
He's just trying to find track time right
and
now.
He smacks the wall of champions, but is forgiven. You actually saw right there on your screen his wing crumple and then snap back into place.
Yeah, when you're the league admin, the track cuts you a break.
Oh, he gets squirrely under acceleration out of Senna. As we continue to have the fog rolling in here, just off the St. Lawrence River. Oh, Nunez having a hard time through Senna. He catches it, regains himself. Now he's back running again.
Again, just too much curb, right? If you miss one corner and you take too much curb to where it's on the underside of the car where there's a flat plank of wood or like the bottom part of the car
skid
for
plate.
Aero regs.
Yeah,
the skid plate. It hits those curbs and it just bottoms the car out and you cannot steer because your tires are no longer on the track. The skid plate is on the curbing. I think Lewis needs to tone it down. He's got almost 13 seconds back to Carroll Stout. So
yeah, he just needs to hit his marks and focus on getting to the end of the race here.
And he has enough time between himself and Silvazzi now that he doesn't need to be worried about Silvazzi cutting a stop out of the race. I think Silvazzi's best position he can get right now is second. So Stout's got to pick up the pace to finish second now.
Silvazzi on his out lap right now. He went 19 laps again, so his final stop is complete. He's going to do a 2-stopper. And do not adjust your television sets, everybody. You could try going to the higher resolution if you like. We do support 1440 60 frames per second if you wanted to increase your browser to that level. But that is the weather conditions right now as fog has rolled in here to the Ile de Notre Dame right here on the St. Lawrence Seaway. And we are fighting a little bit of haze and fog as these drivers are now making circuits here in the last third of this race here at this 2.71 mile road course on the island.
In the capital of Quebec, of Montreal. Julian is on a mission, man. He's just trying to make up as much time as he can. He got by Forsyth, and now he's hounding Jesper Orman here, who's had a pretty quiet day, running 7th.
And I think Jesper just might want to let Julian go, and I think he does. He goes wide. This is in 6 and 7. Julian now goes wide. That's going to open the door again for the inside of Forsyth. Now they're coming to 8 and 9. Julian goes defensive to the inside just a little bit. And now here's a spot where you can try to get Orman. Orman wearing the number 1 as the defending series champion. Julian thinking about it. Gives the nose a peek to the inside. And there you see him on the push to pass. The green lights. Coming the pit road. All that work just to come to pit road.
Every second will count. Oltena will probably come out around Timothy Bree. So he's really racing Bree for 12th right now.
This is the final stop for Julian. He's going to stick to the alternate tires, down and away, just enough fuel to get to the finish. He could do some Red Bull laps here late in the race if he wants. Temperature is getting right, even though the visibility is not the best. Back to our leader, Nunez. Let's go back to Stout now. Take a look at Stout as he is racing around Tim Bree. Tim Bree is back in 12th. John Christensen passing Whitaker on pit road. Move Christensen up to 13th. Liam O'Sullivan in 3rd. By himself.
Quiet days.
Yeah, he is all by himself. And really, he's to the point where he has, you see him on the map on your screen. He's the 3, that's the blue dot. The next closest car, obviously, they just went around the hairpin. The car behind him is in 13th position, just now halfway down the straight between turns 7 and 8. So all Liam now has to do at this point is just really bring this thing home and for a nice, solid 3rd.
Well, he'll have to pit again, and Silvazzi won't. So, again, that's that
we'll see.
Push-pull of, does Liam have more in the tank to turn up the wick to secure himself this podium against someone he's not racing on track position, he's just racing lap time because he has to make up a whole extra stop.
So Liam is now 12 laps into his stint. So he is probably going to come to pit road probably sometime in the next 3 laps. So with less than 10 to go, he'll come to pit road. Same thing for Nunez, same thing for Stout. They will both come to pit road with less than 10 to go for their final stops. Solwedge might actually have to come to pit road as well before this race is over. So Silvazzi, you're right. Yeah, Silvazzi, the door is ripe and the situation is right for Silvazzi to pick up maybe 1 or 2 spots.
Solowich might be able to stretch it, but it would be something we haven't seen from him yet today, so.
Yeah, it'd have to be a mid-race strategy change, which are difficult to pull off. But not impossible.
Bennyworth and Santos still aggressively negotiating here, 9th and 10th. Santos was much closer last lap. He must have bit off a little more than he could chew trying to get by Bennyworth last time by. Oh, there he goes.
Santos around. That's out of corner number 7. And luckily there's no traffic behind him, but the leader is coming up behind him.
Just trying too hard.
Top 10 still on the lead lap as Nunez has lapped all the way up to the 10th spot where Santos currently resides. Watching Silvazzi, but I think we're going to be watching Liam O'Sullivan coming to pit road next, so we will focus the camera on him. Once again, if you're just joining us, you're watching Velocity Online Racing's coverage of round 5 of 10 of the VOR IndyCar Championship, coming to you from Montreal for the second Grand Prix of Montreal, where Luis Nunez currently leads with less than 10 to go, but he still needs to make his final stop. A lot can still happen. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race, which is the VOR Iconic Series at Indianapolis on Friday, March 7th at 4 p.m. It'll be me and Clindy calling the action for the 250-mile event on the world's famous, most famous circuit in the world at Indianapolis. You don't want to miss it. Also, if you like what you see and like to be part of future races of the VOR IndyCar Championship, click on the VOR Discord invite in the description to learn more today.
All right, Gary, there is one wrinkle here. The 13 seconds that Carroll Stout has given up to Luis Nunez weren't all at once, right? It's not like he fell off a cliff. I think it might be possible that Carroll saw Silvazzi go almost 20 laps on a tank of gas and backed himself up to get that extra lap on each of his runs. He's pitted with exactly 20 to go. If
he's on push to pass now, I
knows
don't
the range. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but if he's on push to pass, does that say that he has enough fuel that if he's actually using the button, or is he using the button because he knows he needs to come to pit road?
Yeah, it's very likely if he's on the button, he's just doing what he can to make lap time to try to beat Silvazzi to the line. Nunez is in. So this will tell us how much time Nunez will have to make up, if any, should Carroll Stout have actually saved, but Stout's still got to make 7 laps here.
Stout's on push to pass, so he is staying out. Nunez down pit road nice and easily. He has not got any speeding penalties, doing everything he needs, minding his P's and Q's on pit road, down and away. Final stop going to the prime tire. Just enough fuel to get to the end. Comes out behind Lucas Santos.
O'Sullivan's in as well.
Sullivan goes up on the jacks for the final time. Final stop for O'Sullivan.
He puts on the primaries.
Solwedge goes around him. Solwedge, though,
Here
13 laps into his stint.
Silvazzi will be for position at the end of the race. And O'Sullivan's ahead.
Yeah, by a comfortable margin, actually.
He is on the slower tire. Silvazzi may have life here to get the podium, but he's going to have to push.
He is currently on 7-lap-old alternate tires. Carl Stout entering pit road. Final stop for our leader. I will turn the lead back over to Nunez, who, there he is, just entering the camera's picture at the top of your screen. And he will pick the lead back up as Stout is now making his way to his stall for his final stop. 7 to go. Now
Forsyth
6 to
and
go.
Murphy collected each other in Senna last time by.
And Forsyth He has a broken rear wing. A broken rear wing. So he needs to be very careful to navigate these last couple of corners. Murphy has a broken front wing. What happened? Okay, we got time. We can maybe go back and check this out.
I think Murphy got squirrely going through Senna and tried to lock up the brakes to keep it out of the Armco, out of the concrete. And Craig just ran out of room, had nowhere to go, with Murphy sideways in front of him. Oh, well, Sullivan's off.
And we're trying to go look at that incident, and O'Sullivan is off. And he has a broken rear wing. Oh, and he gets contact. He gets contact with Whitaker, who just storms right on into the incident zone. And Liamo has a tow.
And the quiet day he had been having got real loud all of a sudden.
Okay, so Murph was trying to get out of the way, and he just came around and clipped down on Forsyth, and I don't think he meant to do that, obviously. So this is going to change things up at the front. 5 to go. Nunez, Stout, Silvazzi now. Solwedge in 4th. Remember, here are the points coming into the race. On points. Get on the screen. We'll remove the track map because we're not going to really need that now as we're getting to the end of the race here. So Nunez is going to pull and get some distance between himself and Altena and O'Sullivan. Silvazzi might actually move up and get closer to O'Sullivan. So we're going to see some movement in the points after the end of this race.
Yeah, I think O'Sullivan's going to come home 17th today.
Aiden getting around Benny, who's on pit road for his final stop. Aiden moves up to 7th now. Aiden was not happy at the conditions coming into this race, said it was a very slippery race course. Somehow Julian has worked his way up to 6th. I don't know how he did it. He has stopped more than everybody else.
Clean once he got a new one. He got a new nose and he kept it clean.
He has stopped more than everyone else. Do we have the number of stops graphic here? Pit stop count. Yes, here we go. There you see Julian with 4. Whitaker with 4. And Julian, the only driver in the top 10 with 4 stops. Currently, the drivers on the 2-stop strategy is Silvazzi and Orman in the top 10. They're both on 2-stoppers, as well as Wagner. And I think Forsyth would have been on the 2-stopper, but unfortunately, he's coming to pit road for damage.
Yeah, Jesper's making really heavy lifts.
Bennyworth back on pit road with damage. And what happened?
He took a tow. Coming down the back half of the track, he lost his left front tire going into turn 3.
Yeah, this was just 3, and he smacks the inside tire wall. As we're getting late in the race now, and people are getting tired, and concentration is dropping, and that's when mistakes occur. So now it's Nunez, Stout, Silvazzi, Solwedge, and Orman who's now into the top 5.
I think Orman's got to stretch his fuel really, really far. If you ride along with him, he's not on the throttle hardly at all. Julian may be able to catch him on pace.
There's your push-to-pass remaining situation for the drivers out there. Nunez cruising with 132 seconds worth. Stout is out. He is Winchester. Silvazzi, 70 seconds. Solwedge, 168. Orman, 72. Julian just with 17. Millward, with 123, Santos with 20, Bree with 21, and Forsyth now with 94. Those are seconds remaining of Push the Pass. Top 7 still on the lead lap. Can Jesper Orman now get this top 5 by getting these next 3 laps, or does he have to come to pit road for a splash at the end, which would give the position to Julian? Now, if we look out the back
Julian's going to do it on the racetrack.
Well, if we look out the back of Jesper's car, that is not Julian. That's Julian, the second car on back. That is Wags. Nunez looking to continue 2 streaks. The win streaks in order of the series. Winner last at Iowa. Looking to go 2 in a row, and also looking to continue winning on road courses. The main streak is getting that 2 in a row.
Yeah, and taking control of the points lead.
Forsyth and Bree. Forsyth back on the racetrack and lap down now in 10th after getting a new rear wing as he's chasing down Bree for 9th. He should get down. Oh, Bree's putting up a pretty good battle. Bree's been very quiet in and out of the lower portion of the top 10 all day. He's up 4 spots. Santos up 14. He's your biggest gainer of the day.
Forsyth's going to have something to say to Bree before this race is over. They're nose to tail here.
Final lap. White flag in the air. Let's get it back on our leader.
Just 2 more corners for him to navigate, and he'll be a repeat back-to-back winner here.
Through the pin for the final time down the Casino Straight. Looking at his 3rd win here in the VOR IndyCar Championship. We're win number 3, 2 in a row, and 2 of the 3 have been on road courses. Last time into the final set of corners across the exit for the Wall of Champions, and doing a little bit of the Nunez shuffle coming to the checkered flag. Luis Nunez, your winner here in Montreal. Carl Stout with a best career finish of 2nd. And Patrick Silvazzi with the 2-stopper. And there you see, yep, even though he just went on the button with the 2-stopper, he's coming to the checkered flag on the button. Comes home 3rd for another podium finish this weekend. Remember, Silvazzi was on the podium at the race that we had yesterday at Legacy, Kentucky in the Iconic Series.
In the Votive Derby. Looks like Jesper was able to hold off Julian, and Bree was able to hold off Forsyth. So mark my teammate down for 5th today after starting 9th. Good day for Jesper. And what a strategy play by Silvazzi, knowing he just didn't quite have the pace to stick up with everyone else. Figured he'd go the fuel-saving route, and it netted him a podium finish. What a great day for him.
And we'll be talking to him first about that. But here are your results. Second Grand Prix of Montreal, round 5. Luis Nunez, your winner. Carl Stout, 2nd. Silvazzi, 3rd. Kostik Solwich, his best career finish, I believe, here in the series, 4th. Jesper Orman Not known for being the ace on the road course, but drive to survive and a good strategy. I believe he pulled off the two-stopper as well. He comes home fifth. Julian, a great recovery drive. He comes home sixth. Aiden Millward, seventh. Lucas Santos, eighth. He's your biggest gainer of the day. He went up 14 spots. Bree, ninth. Forsyth never got a chance to catch Bree, so Forsyth finished 10th. But Forsyth was running inside the top 10 for top 5 for much of the day until that incident late in the race with Murph. Then we got Christensen to Sarah. Wagner with a very quiet day. He moved up 8 spots to 13th. Whitaker 14th. Murphy 15th. In your top 20, Bennyworth, O'Sullivan with an incident there in turns 3. And it got exacerbated with just traffic kind of piling in. His day is over in 17th. Levern 18th. Pollard 19th. Pim in 20th. Brewer, Inch, and Bonnie 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. That is your 23-car field here from Montreal.
We've got our bottom 2 steps of the podium ready to go whenever you're
Stand by.
ready, Gary.
Stand by. We need to just get these replays. So here we go. That might be a good angle right there. Let's get back into this thing here. Nunez with the purple lap there, also in the race, so just his day all the way around.
Well, I wonder if Carol Stout would disagree. I think maybe if he thought his internet cooperated.
We will ask him about that.
We'll ask him.
Yeah, we'll ask him about that. All right. And Patrick in a new paint job, so unfortunately the colors that we have for him, he didn't tell the admin, so the admin didn't change his colors. Patrick, if you're gonna ride a new livery man, you gotta tell the admin so he can get you the new colors and the overlay. All right. Here we go. Patrick Zavazzi up in the booth. Hey, not a bad weekend there, Patrick. Before we talk about your strategy, 2 podiums this weekend at first at Legacy, Kentucky, and now here on the road course at Montreal. But you pulled off the 2-stop strategy while everyone else around you opted for the 3-stop. When did you decide on the 2-stop, and how'd you know it was going to work? Or what did you have to do to get you in a position to make it work?
First things first, I initially knew that maybe a 2-stop will be working after initial practice and such. So I tried to adjust it and then tried to not crash at all. and yeah, basically, I don't know. It felt okay. Like I knew that people won't be saving. So I tried to lose as not that as much time as possible, which actually worked on the 24, but on Liam it didn't. But I knew that I would have get the tire advantage.
Mm-hmm.
But then obviously his crash happened, and then obviously I inherited P3. But it's okay. I knew that the best I will do is P3 after seeing Lewis and Carol. So yeah, I'm actually really happy with the result, and this is what I kind of expected. That if I can't win a race on pace, then I might have to try it on strategy, and this was the prime example of it. So so yeah, I'm really happy to have another podium on the road course. So yeah, I'm really happy actually.
All right, Clendy.
Yeah, the only driver to podium from both the oval and the road course today. Can you kind of walk us through or tell the audience at home the different approaches between those 2 types of racing? What what the differences in strategy are, or what the differences in making and finding pace are between an oval track and a big flat park, basically street
Mm,
course, road course here in Canada?
I wish I could have a secret. Like I don't know. It's just it actually comes naturally, to be honest. So I've I came from the F1 game, so obviously I'm feel like I'm naturally good at road courses, but oval is like another world. And yeah, as you guys saying, and I keep saying that I'm improving on ovals week by week by basically doing nothing, just keeping it cool, saving fuel, saving tires, and then do some stuff. And then I for oval I have no clue, to be honest. It
Well,
just it just feels natural.
I wish road was natural for me because ovals are natural to me. So I need a little of you have, and you need a little what I have. But what do you want to share with the world? You've got your bronze medal today. You've earned the right to shout out any friends, families,
Yeah.
sponsors. The floor is yours.
Yeah. So yeah, I was alone today. Of course, Vax were here. Vax was here. Oh, sorry. It's late. So yeah, Seb was kind of helping me towards the second half of the race. So yeah, thanks, Seb. And yeah, the 500 is next up, which I am not looking forward to because historically my 4 lap pace is bad. Let's put it in that way.
All right. Well,
So,
you got anybody else you want to shout out? Any of the sponsors or teams or anything, or is that it? Just Seb and the guys
yeah,
at
that's
Team
it.
Watson.
Yeah. That's it. That's it for me tonight.
All right. Well, congratulations on the P3 and pulling off that two-stop strategy. The points have been updated, so let's check those out right now and see where you stand. Luis Nunez, of course, is going to be the leader over Julian by 27 points. And you are now third, 46 points behind Nunez for the lead. So not quite a full race difference between you and our points leader, but a little less than that, but still lots of racing left to go. We still have a half a season, so well within grasp of taking this points battle to the much later rounds. So congratulations, man. Good to see you happy. Had a good weekend, and we will catch you at the next race.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thank you so much.
Take care. All right, and now we're going to bring up our next driver is Carl Stout. And there is Carl. I guess the big elephant in the room was the lag that impacted you mid-race. You were the leader, and then the Nunez kind of ran you down a little bit, and then the lag started occurring, and then the next thing you know, when you reappear on the racetrack, you're behind Lewis. If that never occurred, how do you think your pace would have been strong enough to hold him off, because you were doing the job up until that point?
Yeah, I think I would have been able to keep him behind. We were kind of just matching pace there, and it's really hard to overtake here. So I just decided to take my chance and left one. And I also wouldn't have. I ran out of fuel coming into the pit and on the third stop trying to gain time. I also wouldn't have risked that. So yeah, it's just unfortunate.
Go ahead, Glendy.
I know that it hurts a lot to come home second when you feel like you had a lot more in the tank, both literally and physically. But I know you're young and you're learning. What lessons can you take today and apply in the future to be faster or better the next time you're in a situation where, a win is on the line?
Just don't get distracted by it. Just keep going. Like I think that kind of I was just pissed off at that point, and that kind of made I should have not went for that. Try to go 1 lap longer on the fuel and stuff, and that's all time that I lost. And yeah,
But it's a good lesson to learn, and there are brighter days ahead. Hopefully, you can find a little bit of happiness in the second place finish, even though it's not what you wanted. Hopefully you can share it with any friends or family or sponsors you want to shout out right now. You've got the silver medal. You've earned it.
Yeah, I want to thank Jay Howard for giving me the opportunity to drive in the States this year. Gonna make the most of it. So, yeah.
There you go, former Indy 500 participant Jay Howard, helping you out here in the States. Your best, I believe this is your best career finish here in the VOR IndyCar Championship. Congratulations. And frankly, a win is not too far off in your future. We will probably see you on the top step of the podium here sooner rather than later. But P2 here today. Congratulations, and we'll catch you at the Oval in Indianapolis here in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
Not a very happy Carl, and I can't blame him, really. And it had to be, and we're going to find out here real soon when we talk to Lewis. Lewis had to be feeling much the same way at Watkins Glen, but not even a chance to podium. I mean, when he lagged, he was done. He DC'd the system, kicked him out. So at least Carl was able to salvage a P2, Clendy.
Yeah, P2, and the ability to learn and grow from these types of situations when you really didn't do anything wrong, right? He learned not to compound errors. He was 2 seconds back, then 6 seconds back, and then out of the draft and couldn't keep up. Next time, stay cool under the helmet, do what you can to manage the gap, get it back little by little, not all in one big chunk. Don't risk anything you don't need to risk. It's a learning opportunity. And the next time you're at a road course chasing the fastest dude out there, make him pass you, right? Be the fastest dude, and don't let the heat under the helmet slow you down.
Let's go ahead and bring in Luis Nunez. Here he is, Luis Nunez. My friend, 2 in a row. That's the one of the big news items. But the second news item is, well, the racing gods deemed it to forgive you for whatever happened at Watkins Glen, and the lag didn't impact you this time. It impacted Carl Stout and allowed you to kind of get the lead, and then at that point really kind of pull away and put a stamp on this whole thing, and to not only get the win here at Montreal, but now to extend your points lead by 27 points over Julian, who's now in second. Congratulations. Talk about your race, and then about how do you feel. I mean, you've been there, and we were just talking about it before your interview. At least Carl was able to continue his race. Your race at Watkins Glen, when you lagged out, you were done.
Oh yeah, that was. I mean, I don't know what happened to him, because when that happened to me, the iRacing just pushed me off the session. But yeah, that was pretty weird. But I mean, I think I could have won the race even without that. But probably I should have done another strategy, or maybe take risks for passing him.
Yeah.
So yeah, even in my mind, I was just behind him, and I said, okay, if he's speeding 1 lap earlier than me, I will pit later, or if he's not pitting, I will pit, because I don't want to be side by side with him, because maybe we can end up in the wall, and I don't want that.
Right.
So yeah, also I want to say maybe I trusted too much, because I decided to join like super late for the practice, and yeah, because of the wind or the track time, it felt like another completely different car from what I was used to drive. So yeah, I thought, all right, maybe I'm not finishing this race because I'm feeling like shit. But yeah, it was enough to get the pole and then the win. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. I will not lie on that.
Go ahead, Clendy.
Hey, Lewis, congratulations on your back-to-back wins. And also, I want to ask you a little bit about something that happened in the middle of the race. You had a little bit of an off-track excursion coming off of pit road. Was that due to the marbles or cold tires, or I can't recall. Was that your stint on the primary tire, or was that another alt stint?
Yeah, that was in an alt. I think that was just, well, I just ran out of talent there. I just broke too late. Well, I want to say probably this was one of my worst races I've ever done in terms of driving, because I did a lot of mistakes, and I wasn't too consistent, and I wasn't doing really consistent lap times. But yeah, because I had that problem, and also Julian got crashed and all this stuff. It was enough to win, but yeah, I'm not too happy about my driving in this race. if I'm honest.
Well, hey, there's always room for improvement, and when you can come home first, even when you can be self-critical, that's a pretty good day. Earning the gold medal today gives you the right to shout out any friends, family sponsors, or anyone in the world really you'd like. So the floor is yours. You can shout out anyone you'd like until your face is blue.
Yeah, I wanna thank my team especially, and also the team boss, Ale, for trusting in me, and well, that's it. Not much to say.
Well, congratulations. Your points lead, and you're the first back-to-back winner since last season when Jesper went back-to-back at Kentucky and Phoenix. Your points lead is now, as I bring that up, 27, I think, over Julian. Yes, 27, 193 to 166. Silvazzi's in third with a 147, and Liam fourth, 139, and Jesper, our defending series champion, with in fifth spot for the 121. So a good lead going into our biggest race of the year. Well, probably one of the hardest races of the season. Will be 500 miles in Indianapolis. So we will see you on the oval for the big one here in a couple weeks. As our points leader going for 3 in a row at Indianapolis. We'll see you then. Congratulations. But get lots of
Thanks,
rest.
guys.
It's going to be a big week.
Thanks, guys. See you in Indy.
All right. And yeah, very happy. He did not, he was very clear. He did not like his racecraft out there too well. He thought he was a little sloppy, but I don't know. He was less sloppy than everyone else, and was able to really, I would say, not quite put a whomping on the field, but definitely a statement race by 11 seconds, almost 12 seconds over P2. That tells me he had this race, despite any incidents and the mistakes he made, well under his control.
Yeah, when you are one of the 2 fastest cars on the track, you just need to minimize your mistakes. I mean, we saw him put one wheel wrong all afternoon, and that was enough for him to win by more than 15 seconds, right? So, Lewis, you can have a sloppy meal and it can still taste great, right? So don't get discouraged. Just because it doesn't look good doesn't mean it doesn't taste great. So you did great today, buddy. Honestly, most of the drivers today did a really good job. It's a very technical circuit, very hard to get around quickly, and very, very few incidents occurred today on the racing surface that were of dubious quality.
Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff that we saw, especially late in the race, was just lapses of concentration after 50-plus laps here.
Marbles.
Yeah,
right?
marbles.
You get all those marbles on the flat part of the track and put one tire wrong, it's going to be way worse than it was at the beginning of the race.
And graphically, the weather conditions changed out there, too. So braking points looked a little bit different later in the race than they did earlier in the race, considering the kind of the fog and the haze that rolled in. But that's going to do it here for today. From Montreal and the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve on the Ile de Notre Dame. Once you get your podium for the second Grand Prix of Montreal from the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is Luis Nunez. 2 wins in a row. And now your points leader going to Indianapolis. Carl Stout second, and Patrick Silvazzi with the next best weekend of all. 2 straight podiums at Legacy, Kentucky in the DW12, and the podium here in the IndyCar Championship on Saturday. Not a bad weekend. Not a bad weekend at all. Join us again Saturday, March 15th, as the IndyCar Championship goes to its biggest race of the season. It's the 13th running of the Velocity Online Racing Indianapolis 500. Coverage, as always, will start approximately at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that's 3:00 p.m. Eastern Time. And remember, it's a 500-mile race, so get your drinks, get your popcorn, get everything settled in. We're going to be in for a long afternoon. And remember, for the correct broadcast time in your area, you can find everything right here at YouTube, at youtube.com, and just search Velocity Online Racing. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support us with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below and let us know your thought of today's race, and if you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out on more of Velocity Online Racing's other iRacing programming, including action in about 2 weeks from their IndyCar, the VOR Iconic Series, their DW12 IndyCar Series, when they go to Indianapolis for the first time this season for 250 miles on the Big Oval. That'll be me and Clendy on Friday at 4 p.m. there, March 7th. You'll want to check it out. You won't want to miss it. Today's second Grand Prix of Montreal race is brought to you by Lovern Incorporated. Lovern's provides professional services in the renovation, remodeling, painting, and mold removal for government, commercial, and residential projects. For a quote to learn more, like them on Facebook or visit their website at loversinc.com today. Links are in the description. Track cams for this race are provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with Whiplash Sim Cams. To learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook or follow them on Instagram and X. Links are in the description. And we want to thank them for giving us a brand spanking new set of cams, not only for our race yesterday at Legacy, Kentucky, but they also gave us a brand spanking new set of cams for here for Montreal. First time ever being broadcasted, so I want to thank them very much for making that possible. For business inquiries to learn more about Velocity Online Racing, visit velocityonlineracing.com. Like us on Facebook or follow them on X. The links are in the description. So, for Klendy, everyone here at Velocity Online Racing, I'm Gary Godsoe saying all happy Saturday and thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again right here Saturday, March 15th in the racing capital of the world, my hometown, Indianapolis, for the next race of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship. We'll see ya.